Pursuit of wisdom is like walking a narrow, winding path, one that many overlook because it doesn't offer immediate rewards or applause. Yet for those who dare to tread it, this path leads to the richest form of fulfillment. Some truths, much like seeds, must be planted deep within the soil of our own being, shielded from the prying eyes of the world, so they can take root and grow strong, unperturbed by the distractions of everyday life. This is where the profound insights of the Stoics come into play. They teach us to cultivate a garden within ourselves, a place where our deepest thoughts, our hardest-earned lessons, and our most personal victories can grow quietly, without the need for external validation. The Stoics, those masters of introspection and restraint, knew that not everything is meant for public display. They cherished the sanctity of their inner worlds, understanding that overexposure could dilute the essence of what truly matters. Each joy and sorrow, every success and failure, they are all threads in the fabric of our personal stories. But when we rush to share every detail, we risk losing the depth of our experiences. Like a flower that's constantly handled, our own development requires a sanctuary of solitude, private space where we can reflect on our journey, learn from our missteps, and decide on the best way forward. Choosing not to share is not an act of secrecy, but of protection. It's about safeguarding the integrity of our growth and ensuring that it remains true and untainted. In a world that celebrates constant exposure and endless sharing, it's easy to forget the power of privacy. It's easy to overlook the strength found in what remains unspoken, the wisdom in what is kept close. This video will guide you through 11 subjects that are better left unsaid, not as a means of withholding, but as a way to preserve the purity of your personal growth. Each one carries a unique significance, and by the end, you'll understand why keeping them to yourself is not only wise, but essential. So, join us on this journey to uncover these hidden gems of Stoic wisdom. Stay with us through to the end to see how these principles can transform your approach to life. And if these ideas resonate with you, please subscribe to our channel and share your own experiences with these practices in the comments below. Your insights could inspire someone else on their path to self-mastery. The journey towards a more Stoic way of living begins here. Number 1. Don't talk about your achievements. Do not seek recognition for the sake of your ego, Seneca once advised. The Stoics understood that the true measure of a person's worth is not found in the applause of others, but in the quiet, uncelebrated moments of integrity and self-reflection. In a society that constantly pushes us to flaunt our accomplishments, it can be difficult to resist the lure of validation. Yet, the wisdom of the Stoics teaches us that our achievements are most powerful when they remain unspoken, when they are internalized and allowed to transform us from within. Imagine a craftsman in ancient times, meticulously carving a masterpiece from a block of marble. He doesn't rush to show every strike of his chisel to the crowd. Instead, he works in solitude, knowing that the process is as important as the final result. His focus isn't on impressing others, but on perfecting his craft, on refining his skills. In the same way, the Stoics believed that our achievements should be like this sculpture, shaped and polished in the quiet of our own minds, not paraded for fleeting praise. When we boast of our victories, we risk feeding the flames of vanity and pride. These are dangerous companions, as they can lead us away from the pursuit of true virtue and trap us in the endless cycle of seeking approval. The philosopher Aristotle warned against this when he said, "Pride is a necessary evil," pointing out that while a certain degree of self-respect is essential, it can easily tip into arrogance, if not carefully managed. Stoics, however, offered a different path. They taught that true wealth is not stored in the vaults of public recognition, but in the inner chambers of a balanced and serene soul. Achievements, they argued, are not about the outward symbols of success, but about the quiet, steady cultivation of wisdom, justice, and compassion. It is this internal wealth that makes us truly rich, not the accolades we might receive from others. So here's the actionable advice. The next time you find yourself tempted to share a success, pause and consider the value of keeping it to yourself. Let it be a private victory, one that strengthens your character and deepens your sense of purpose. Reflect on the lessons learned, the effort invested, and the ways in which this achievement can quietly influence the world around you. In the end, it's not the noise that defines us, but the silent commitment to greatness that we nurture within. Like the craftsman, let your work speak for itself, silently and powerfully, as a testament to your dedication and integrity. The world doesn't need to know every step you take. It only needs to feel the impact, your quiet, steadfast progress. Number 2. Don't talk about challenges not overcome. In the same way that achievements are best kept close to the chest, so too are the challenges we have yet to conquer. The Stoics understood that every obstacle we face is a sculptor, chiseling away at the raw material of our character. But just as a sculptor works in quiet concentration, revealing the statue only when it is complete, so too should we approach our struggles. It's not the public acknowledgement of our battles that matters, but the private lessons they teach us, the internal strength they forge. Seneca reminds us in Letters from a Stoic, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." This wisdom highlights the importance of action over words, of facing challenges head-on without the distraction of seeking sympathy or recognition. When we talk too soon about the mountains we are trying to climb, we risk undermining our own resolve. We may be tempted to seek praise for the effort rather than focusing on the completion of the journey. Imagine a blacksmith at his forge, hammering away at a piece of metal. Each strike shapes it, hardens it, prepares it for its final form. But the blacksmith does not announce each strike to the village. He works in silence, knowing that the strength of the blade will speak for itself when the work is done. The Stoics believed that our challenges, like that blade, are best forged in the fires of solitude and introspection. By keeping our struggles private, we allow them to mold us without the interference of external expectation. The Stoics taught that real glory does not come from the outward display of resilience, but from the quiet endurance of hardship. They valued the internal victories, those moments when we choose to persist despite the odds, when we find clarity in chaos, and when we grow stronger not because others see our struggle, but because we have faced it alone. This internal battle, fought in the depths of our own mind, is what truly defines our character. So here's the practical wisdom. When you find yourself in the midst of a struggle, resist the urge to share it too soon. Instead, focus on the work, on what you can learn, how you can grow, and what this challenge is teaching you about yourself. The Stoic path is one of quiet fortitude, where true strength is not advertised but cultivated in the shadows, emerging only when it is fully formed. By keeping these challenges private, you build a reservoir of resilience that does not rely on the fleeting validation of others. Like the blacksmith's blade, your strength speaks for itself in time, and when it does, it will be all the more powerful because it was forged in silence, with the heat of perseverance and the hammer of experience shaping every inch. Number 3. Don't talk about your good deeds. Just as challenges overcome in silence build our inner strength, so too does the quiet performance of good deeds. The Stoics believed that true virtue does not require an audience. As Seneca once wrote, "A good character is the only guarantee of everlasting carefree happiness." This happiness, rooted in integrity, is not something that can be earned through the applause of others. It is cultivated within, nourished by the satisfaction of knowing you have done good without the need for recognition. Imagine a gardener tending to a vast orchard. Each day, they carefully water the trees, prune the branches, and ensure the soil is rich and fertile. They do not stand by the gate, waiting for passers-by to admire their work. Instead, they find fulfillment in the quiet labor, knowing that the fruits will flourish in due time, providing nourishment to all who encounter them. This is the Stoic approach to kindness, acts of compassion and generosity that are performed not for the approval of others, but for the intrinsic value they hold. In today's world, where self-promotion often feels like a necessity, this approach may seem counterintuitive. We are bombarded with messages that tell us to showcase our every achievement, to shout our good deeds from the rooftops. The Stoics recognized the danger in this. When we turn kindness into a spectacle, we risk corrupting it with vanity, transforming what should be an act of selflessness into a pursuit of ego. The practical wisdom here is clear. Perform your good deeds in silence. Let your actions be like the roots of a tree, spreading deep and wide beneath the surface, unseen yet essential. When you give, do so with a pure heart without expecting anything in return. Reflect on your motivations, ensuring that your kindness stems from genuine compassion, rather than a desire for recognition. By keeping your good deeds to yourself, you allow them to become a source of personal growth and inner strength. This is not about hiding your light under a bushel, but about understanding that true virtue shines brightest when it is not seeking the spotlight. As Laozi, the ancient Chinese philosopher, once said in the Tao Te Ching, "A great man does not boast of his worth, and therefore he is worthy." Your worth is not measured by the accolades you receive, but by the quiet, consistent goodness you bring into the world. So, the next time you are tempted to share your good deeds, pause. Consider the value of keeping them close, allowing them to be a silent testament to your character. Like the gardener tending to the orchard, take pride in the work itself, knowing that the fruits of your labor will nourish others without the need for fanfare. This is the essence of Stoic virtue, living with integrity, humility, and a deep, unwavering commitment to doing what is right, even when no one is watching. Number 4, don't talk about your resentment. Just as good deeds lose their purity when they are announced, resentment gains strength when it is voiced. The Stoics believed that harboring resentment is akin to carrying a burning coal, hoping it will hurt someone else. It doesn't. It burns you. The Roman philosopher Seneca once said, "He who suffers before it is necessary, suffers more than is necessary." Holding on to resentment is a form of self-inflicted suffering, one that chains us to past hurts and blinds us to present joys. Imagine resentment as a heavy fog that settles in a valley, clings to the ground, obstructing your view, distorting the landscape. As long as you remain in that fog, you cannot see the path ahead clearly, nor can you appreciate the beauty that surrounds you. The Stoics taught us to clear this fog with the light of understanding and forgiveness. By letting go of resentment, we lift that fog, allowing ourselves to move freely through life without being weighed down by the grievances of the past. Resentment often stems from a lack of understanding. We hold on to slights and offenses, nurturing them into grudges, without ever asking ourselves whether we have seen the full picture. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, urges us to accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. This isn't about condoning wrongs, it's about choosing peace over prolonged pain. It's about realizing that every person, every interaction is a thread in the larger tapestry of life, and holding on to anger only distorts the pattern. Here's the actionable wisdom. When you feel the sting of a past hurt, take a moment to pause. Instead of recounting the wrong to others or letting it fester within, ask yourself, what is this resentment teaching me? How can I grow from this experience? Often, you will find that the act of holding on to anger serves no one but your own suffering. Release it. Allow yourself to breathe deeply and to step back from the narrow focus on the pain. Choosing forgiveness over resentment is not an act of weakness, but of strength. It's like choosing to set down a heavy load you've been carrying for far too long. Frees up space in your heart and mind for more productive, positive pursuits. Poet Rumi wrote, "Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right-doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there." This field is a place of freedom, where the burdens of anger and bitterness have no place. So, next time you find yourself clinging to resentment, remember the power of silence. Don't give voice to that negativity. Instead, focus on what you can learn from the experience and how it can make you stronger. In doing so, you choose a lighter, more intentional path forward, one free of the fog of resentment and illuminated by the clarity of understanding and peace. Number 5. Don't talk about your deepest dream. Have you ever noticed how fragile your dreams feel when shared too soon? The Stoics understood that our most cherished aspirations require careful nurturing, much like a tender sapling that needs protection from the elements. As Laozi, the ancient Chinese philosopher, once wrote, "He who knows does not speak. He who speaks does not know." This wisdom reminds us that our dreams, Our most profound desires are not meant to be broadcast to the world before they have had time to take root and grow strong. Think of your deepest dreams as a treasure, hidden deep within a cave. The moment you reveal their location to the world, you expose them to the risk of being taken, tarnished, or even destroyed by the harsh realities of life. The Stoics believed that these dreams should be kept close, guarded within the fertile soil of your soul, where they can be cultivated without the interference of external skepticism or judgment. By protecting your dreams in this way, you allow them to grow into something truly magnificent, something that reflects your inner strength and perseverance. The Stoic principle of self-sufficiency teaches us that the true value of our dreams lies not in how others perceive them, but in how they shape us from within. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This is a reminder that the richness of our lives comes from within, from the quiet determination to pursue our goals without the need for external validation. When we keep our dreams to ourselves, we free them from the burden of others' expectations and opinions, allowing them to develop naturally, guided by our own values and desires. So, here's a practical takeaway. The next time you feel the urge to share your grandest dreams, pause. Ask yourself if sharing them will strengthen or weaken your resolve. Instead of seeking approval or validation, focus on taking concrete steps towards realizing your aspirations. Let your actions, not your words, be the evidence of your commitment. By doing so, you build a reservoir of inner strength that will sustain you through the inevitable challenges that come with pursuing something truly meaningful. Your dreams are like the foundation of a great cathedral, built stone by stone in silence and solitude. They don't need to be shouted from the rooftops to be real. What they need is your unwavering dedication, your silent resolve to see them through to fruition. By keeping your dreams close, you ensure that they remain pure, untainted by the noise of the outside world. And when they finally come to life, they will stand as a testament to your inner fortitude, a majestic creation born from the quiet work of your hands and the steadfastness of your heart. Number 6. Don't talk about your next steps. Just as our deepest dreams need careful nurturing away from the eyes of others, so do our next steps require a degree of quiet discretion. Stoics understood the power of keeping one's plans under wraps, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. As Sun Tzu famously stated in The Art of War, all warfare is based on deception. This isn't a call to mislead others, but rather a reminder that strategy often involves a level of secrecy. When we reveal our moves too soon, we expose ourselves to unnecessary risks that could easily be avoided by embracing the Stoic principle of silence. Think of an artist working in solitude, sketching out a masterpiece. The world doesn't see the countless drafts, the hesitations, or the bold decisions. They only see the final work, fully realized and confident. By keeping your next steps to yourself, you allow your actions to speak for themselves, free from the noise of external opinions and the burden of expectations. The Stoics believed that by protecting your strategies, you protect your peace of mind and your focus. A key Stoic practice is cultivating self-sufficiency, the understanding that your value and strength come from within, not from the opinions or validations of others. When you share your plans prematurely, you place your internal state in the hands of others, subjecting it to their judgments, which can often be fickle or even damaging. Instead, the Stoic approach is to maintain your course with quiet confidence, allowing your actions to gradually reveal your intention. Here's a practical Stoic tip. The next time you set a goal, keep it to yourself. Focus on the work that needs to be done, on the small, steady steps that lead you closer to your aim. By not sharing your plans, you avoid the trap of seeking praise or avoiding criticism. You build a kind of inner resilience, confidence that is self-generated and self-sustained. Like a gardener tending to his plants, you work in silence, knowing that the fruits of your labor will be revealed in due time. By not broadcasting your intentions, you also avoid the temptation of arrogance. The Stoics warned against pride that stems from boasting about future achievements, which might never come to pass. Instead, they advocated for humility, recognition that while we control our actions, we do not control the outcome. In this way, we stay grounded, focused on the process rather than the praise. So before you feel the urge to share your next move, ask yourself, what purpose does sharing serve? If the answer is to seek validation, consider holding back. Let your work do the talking. Like a ship navigating through a foggy sea, let your compass be your own inner guidance, not the distant, unclear lights of others' expectations. By doing so, you ensure that every step you take is yours alone, undistorted by the whims of the outside world. This is the Stoic way, to walk with quiet strength, knowing that your true power lies in what you do, not in what you say. Number 7. Don't talk about your doubts and uncertainties. Why do we so often feel the need to share our doubts with others, as if speaking them aloud will somehow diminish their weight? The Stoics understood that true strength comes from within, not from the validation or sympathy of others. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This idea suggests that our doubts and uncertainties, rather than being obstacles to overcome through external affirmation, should be viewed as opportunities for internal growth and reflection. The more we speak of our doubts, the more we risk giving them a power over us that they do not deserve. Imagine your mind as a fortress, its walls protecting your inner thoughts from the chaos outside. When we constantly share our doubts, we lower the drawbridge, inviting in opinions and judgments that can destabilize our resolve. The Stoics taught that our inner world should remain a sanctuary, our personal space to grapple with our fears and uncertainties without outside interference. Just as a seed needs the darkness of soil to germinate, our doubts require the quiet and solitude of our own minds to be truly understood and transformed. Here's a practical Stoic principle. When faced with uncertainty, resist the urge to broadcast it. Instead, turn inward. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What is the worst that could happen, and how can I prepare for it? By asking these questions, you gain clarity and control over your thoughts. You can begin to see your doubts not as insurmountable obstacles, but as challenges that reveal where your attention and growth are needed. Keeping your doubts to yourself allows you to process them more effectively. This doesn't mean ignoring them, but rather addressing them in a constructive way. Consider the analogy of a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble. The sculptor doesn't announce each strike of the hammer. They work in silence, knowing that every blow shapes the final masterpiece. Similarly, by confronting our uncertainties quietly, we can shape our understanding and build our confidence without the distraction of external commentary. To manage your doubts, try the Stoic exercise of negative visualization. Imagine the worst-case scenario and then plan how you would deal with it. This exercise helps prepare your mind for challenges and reduces the fear of the unknown. When you do this in private, you build a stronger, more resilient mindset, one that is not easily shaken by the opinions of others. So the next time you feel the need to discuss your uncertainties, pause. Reflect on whether sharing will genuinely help you, or if it will simply amplify your fears. Remember, true confidence comes from within, from the quiet assurance that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. By holding your doubts close, you give yourself the space to grow, to find the answers that lie not in the noise of the external world, but in the stillness of your own heart and mind. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom, to cultivate an inner strength that is both silent and unshakable. Number 8. Don't talk about others. Why is it that we so easily fall into the habit of pointing out the flaws in others, as if doing so absolves us of our own shortcomings? The Stoics understood that criticizing others is like scattering seeds of discord in the fertile ground of our minds. It breeds negativity and distracts us from our own pursuit of virtue. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us in Meditations, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. This wisdom challenges us to focus our energy not on the faults of others, but on improving ourselves. Picture a sculptor who spends their time critiquing the work of others rather than chiseling their own masterpiece. In doing so, they neglect their own progress, and their work remains unfinished, rough, and unrefined. The Stoics believed that by engaging in judgment and criticism of others, we divert valuable energy away from our own self-improvement. It is far more productive to direct that energy inward, refining our character and cultivating the virtues that lead to a life of purpose and tranquility. Here's a practical Stoic exercise. The next time you find yourself tempted to criticize someone else, pause and reflect on your own actions. Ask yourself, am I living up to the standards I set for others? How can I improve myself in this moment? By turning your attention inward, you transform a moment of judgment into an opportunity for growth. Instead of creating ripples of negativity, you contribute to the calm, clear waters of your own mind. The Stoics also recognize that every individual is fighting their own battles, often hidden beneath the surface. Criticism only adds weight to those burdens, erecting walls between us rather than building bridges of understanding. By choosing empathy over judgment, we align ourselves with the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with others, acknowledging that we are all interconnected in our struggles and triumphs. So before you speak critically of others, consider the impact of your words. Are they building walls or bridges? Are they helping you grow, or are they distractions from your own path? Remember, true strength lies not in pointing out the flaws of others, but in quietly working on your own. As the philosopher Laozi once said, "He who controls others may be powerful. He who has mastered himself is mightier still." This is the essence of Stoicism. Mastering oneself, practicing restraint, and using our words to create, not destroy. By choosing to remain silent about the faults of others, you protect your own peace of mind and contribute to a more harmonious world. You become like the sculptor who, instead of critiquing, focuses on perfecting their own work, steadily chiseling away the imperfections to reveal the masterpiece within. This is the path of the Stoic, one of humility, self-discipline, and quiet strength. Number 9. Don't talk about your moments of solitude. Why do we often feel the need to fill every moment with noise and distraction, as if silence itself were something to be feared? The Stoics saw solitude not as emptiness, but as a rich, fertile ground where the seeds of wisdom could take root. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." This insight invites us to cherish our moments of solitude as opportunities to reconnect with our true selves, far from the demands and judgments of the external world. Imagine your mind as a vast, serene landscape. In solitude, this landscape is free to flourish, untouched by the footsteps of others. The Stoics understood that in these quiet moments, when the world falls away, the mind can wander freely, exploring the depths of its own thoughts without interference. It is in these moments of quiet introspection that the most profound insights often arise. Insights that might be stifled in the noise of constant interaction and validation. In today's world, where social media often pressures us to share every experience, the Stoic approach reminds us of the power in keeping certain moments private. The need for external validation can dilute the purity of our experiences, turning what should be a personal sanctuary into something performative. Instead, the Stoics teach us to find value in the quiet, to allow our minds to rest and reflect without the intrusion of outside opinions. Here's a practical application of this Stoic principle. The next time you find yourself alone, resist the urge to reach for your phone or fill the silence with distractions. Instead, embrace that solitude. Let it be a time of deep reflection, a space where you can connect with your inner thoughts and feelings. Ask yourself, what am I truly feeling in this silence? What can I learn from this moment of stillness? By doing so, you cultivate a relationship with your inner self that is untainted by the noise of the external world. Think of solitude as a clear night sky, where the stars can shine brightest when there's no other light to compete with. When you protect your moments of solitude, you allow your true thoughts and feelings to emerge, unpolluted by the expectations or judgments of others. These are the moments when your inner voice speaks most clearly, guiding you towards your true purpose and helping you navigate the complexities of life with greater wisdom and clarity. So before you share your next quiet moment with the world, consider holding it close. Let it be a private retreat, a time to reconnect with yourself without the need for external validation. In this way, you preserve the sanctity of your solitude, allowing it to nourish your soul and strengthen your resolve. This is the Stoic way, finding power not in the approval of others, but in the quiet, introspective journey that leads to true self-understanding. Number 10. Don't talk about unlearned lessons. What can be learned from our mistakes if we rush to speak about them before truly understanding them? The Stoics believed that failures and errors are not just inevitable, but essential to our growth. They saw each mistake as a seed of wisdom, waiting to take root in the soil of reflection. As Seneca wisely observed, the greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today. This philosophy teaches us that it's not the mistake itself that matters, but the time and thought we invest in learning from. Imagine an architect who, upon noticing a flaw in their design, immediately rushes to explain it without first understanding how it happened. In doing so, they miss the opportunity to truly grasp the lesson and apply it to their future work. The Stoics would caution against this. Instead, they would advise the architect to pause, study the flaw, and allow it to inform their future creations. It's this process of introspection that transforms a mistake into a stepping stone towards greater wisdom. In our modern world, where sharing every detail of our lives has become the norm, the Stoic approach offers a counterbalance. By keeping our unlearned lessons private, we give ourselves the space to reflect deeply on our experiences, without the distraction of external opinions. This silence is not about evasion or denial, but about allowing the lesson to fully integrate into our understanding. It's about acknowledging that true learning often happens in the quiet moments of introspection, far from the eyes of others. Here's a practical Stoic application. The next time you encounter a failure, resist the urge to immediately share it with others. Instead, take time to reflect. Ask yourself, what does this mistake teach me? How can I apply this lesson moving forward? By doing so, you transform the error into a valuable tool for self-development, rather than just another story to tell. The Stoics understood that failures are not endings but beginnings, opportunities to refine our character and deepen our understanding. Just as a sculptor chisels away at marble, turning imperfections into features of beauty, we too must work on our failures in the quiet workshop of our minds. Over time, these unlearned lessons, when given the space to mature, become the foundation of our wisdom and resilience. So before you speak of your unlearned lessons, consider the power of silence and introspection. Hold back. Allow the lesson to unfold fully within you. When the time is right, you will find that your understanding has deepened, your wisdom has grown, and your character has been strengthened. This is the essence of Stoic philosophy. Embracing failure not as a defeat, but as a vital part of the journey toward virtue and inner peace. Number 11. Don't talk about your deepest plan. Just as unlearned lessons should be kept within until fully understood, your deepest plans deserve the same level of discretion. The Stoics believe that the power of a plan lies not in its announcement, but in its careful, deliberate execution. As Marcus Aurelius noted, the more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. Sharing your ambitions too early exposes them to forces beyond your influence. Doubt, envy, and even the well-meaning advice of others, which can dilute your original vision. Imagine your deepest plans as a fragile plant growing in a secluded garden. If you expose it to the elements too soon, before it has taken root, it may wither under the harsh sun or be swept away by a sudden storm. The Stoics understood that by nurturing these plans in silence, away from the public eye, they could cultivate the ideal environment for them to grow strong and resilient. In today's world of constant exposure, where every thought is shared and every action broadcast, this wisdom feels more relevant than ever. The practical lesson here is clear. When you set a significant goal, resist the temptation to share it prematurely. Keep it close, protect it from the scrutiny of others, and allow it to develop in its own time. By doing so, you maintain control over your ambitions, shaping them according to your inner values, rather than the shifting opinions of the outside world. Your energy remains focused, your intentions pure, and your path clear. Stoics also recognize that silence is not a void, but a space rich with potential. It is in this silence that our plans gain strength, taking on a life of their own, fueled by our quiet determination. When we eventually reveal our achievements, they will be the result of our unwavering focus and resilience, not the product of external validation or influence. So, before you feel the urge to share your deepest plans, ask yourself, is this for my own growth? Or am I seeking something outside myself? More often than not, you will find that the most powerful course of action is to remain silent, to let your plans grow strong in the fertile ground of your own determination. This is the Stoic way, to build a life of meaning and purpose, not through loud declarations, but through steady, silent progress that ultimately speaks for itself. As we've explored the wisdom of the Stoics, we've learned the power of silence, reflection, and intentional action in our daily lives. By choosing not to share every thought, plan, or challenge, we create space for growth, focus, and inner peace. Remember, it's not about hiding from the world, but about protecting the essence, who we are and what we aspire to become. If you found value in this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know which Stoic principle resonates most with you, or suggest topics you'd like us to cover in future videos. Your insights and suggestions help us continue to create meaningful content. Thank you for being a part of this journey towards wisdom and self-improvement.